The August 28th, 2025 meeting of the Woodbridge Township Board of Education will please come to order. Roll call, Mr. Secretary.
Ms. Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Coughlin.
Here.
Mr. Delapetro.
Here.
Mr. Lally. Mr. Mohammed.
Here.
Mr. Sedana.
Here.
Mr. Treebwasser.
Here.
And Ms. Bourdain.
Here. Mr. Secretary, as required by the Sunshine Law, please read the notice of meetings.
Thank you, Madam President. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this Act, the Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted as follows: January 21st, 2025, emailed to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and the Municipal Clerk's Office, posted in Ross Street, School Number 11, and the Board of Education Administration Building, also published on the school district website.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Treebwasser, please read the closed notice session statement.
Thank you, Madam President. In compliance with the Sunshine Law, the board must go into closed session in order to discuss subjects exempted from the public portion of our meeting. The discussion to be held in closed session will be regarding personnel matters and privacy interests. Any information regarding closed session discussion will be released to the public when the reason for discussing these matters in closed session no longer exists.
I have a motion by Mr. Treebwasser. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Treebwasser, second by Ms. Anderson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Board retires to closed session. Please rise for a salute to the flag and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Feels like these things are great.
So I have a motion to reconvene.
So motion.
I have a second.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Treebwasser, second by Mr. Sedana. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Roll call, Mr. Secretary.
Ms. Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Coughlin.
Here.
Mr. Delapetro.
Here.
Mr. Lally. Mr. Mohammed.
Here.
Ms. Perez.
Here.
Mr. Sedana.
Here.
Mr. Treebwasser.
Here.
And Ms. Bourdain.
Here. Will someone make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting?
So motion. Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Del Pietro and a second by Mr. Treebwasser. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Secretary, please state for the record any notice of bids received by the board.
Thank you. We received IFB 26-08 for student transportation. The bid was read on August 19th, 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. The Woodbridge Township Board of Education welcomes and encourages active, productive, and respectful participation by members of the public and seeks to protect the First Amendment rights of those who engage in the exercise of free speech at this Board of Education meeting. Members of the public are requested to express themselves in a civil manner with due respect for the dignity and privacy for those whose legal rights may be impacted. The public is now invited to speak regarding the agendas being presented this evening. When you come up to the microphone, please provide your name and the section of township in which you reside, along with the specific agenda item you wish to discuss. As per Regulation 1100D, comments must be limited to no more than 5 minutes. No responses will be given until you have completed your opportunity to speak. Anybody wishing to speak on the agenda? No? Okay, Mr. Maris. Moving on, superintendent's agenda. Dr. Massimino, do you have any recommendations?
Thank you, Madam President. I have 20 items to present to the board this evening.
Do
I move for the adoption of the superintendent's agenda.
do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Treebwasser, second by Ms. Perez. Are there any comments or questions for the board? Roll call, Mr. Secretary.
Ms. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Coughlin.
Yes.
Mr. Delapetro.
Yes.
Mr. Lally. Mr. Mohammed.
Yes.
Ms. Perez.
Yes.
Mr. Sedana.
Yes.
Mr. Treebwasser.
Yes.
Ms. Bourdain.
Yes. Communication policy and planning, Mr. Mohammed.
Madam President, the Communication Policy and Planning Committee, on recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, presents the following 4 recommendations. I move for the adoption of the foregoing.
I have a motion by Mr. Mohammed. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sedana. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Roll call, Mr. Wolferman.
Ms. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Coughlin.
Yes.
Mr. Delapietro.
Yes.
Mr. Lally.
Yes.
Mr. Mohammed.
Yes.
Ms. Perez.
Yes.
Mr. Sedana.
Yes.
Mr. Treebwasser.
Yes.
Ms. Bourdain.
Yes. Curriculum, extracurricular activities, and technology, Mr. Sedana.
Thank you, Madam President. The Curriculum, Extracurricular Activities, and Technology Committee, on the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools and the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, presents the following 38 items. I move for the adoption of the foregoing.
I have a motion by Mr. Sedana. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Sedana, second by Ms. Anderson. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Roll call, Mr. Wolferman.
Ms. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Coughlin.
Yes.
Mr. Delapietro.
Yes.
Mr. Lally.
Yes.
Mr. Mohammed.
Yes.
Ms. Perez.
Yes.
Mr. Sedana.
Yes.
Mr. Treebwasser.
Yes.
Ms. Bourdain.
Yes. Finance and Insurance Agenda, Mr. Treebwasser.
Thank you, Madam President. The Finance and Insurance Committee, on recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools and the Business Administrator Board Secretary, presents the following 12 items. I move for the adoption of the foregoing.
I have a motion by Mr. Treebwasser. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Perez. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Roll call, Mr. Wolferman.
Ms. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Coughlin.
Yes.
Mr. Delapietro.
Yes.
Mr. Lally.
Yes.
Mr. Mohammed.
Yes.
Ms. Perez.
Yes.
Mr. Sedana.
Yes.
Mr. Treebwasser.
Yes.
Ms. Bourdain.
Yes. Dining and Transportation, Ms. Perez.
Thank you, Madam President. The Dining and Transportation Committee, on recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools and the Business Administrator Board Secretary, present the following 9 items. I move for the adoption of the foregoing.
Motion by Ms. Perez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Perez, second by Mr. Sedana. Any comments or questions from the board? Roll call, Mr. Wolferman.
Ms. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Coughlin.
Yes.
Mr. Delapietro.
Yes.
Mr. Lally.
Yes.
Mr. Mohammed.
Yes.
Ms. Perez.
Yes.
Mr. Sedana.
Yes.
Mr. Treebwasser.
Yes.
Ms. Bourdain.
Yes. Personnel, Mr. Delapietro.
Thank you, Madam President. The Personnel Committee, on recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools and the Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, presents the following 22 items. I move for the adoption of the foregoing.
I have a motion by Mr. Delapietro. Do I have a
Second.
second? Second by Mr. Treebwasser. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Roll call, Mr. Wolferman.
Ms. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Coughlin.
Yes.
Mr. Delapietro.
Yes.
Mr. Lally.
Yes.
Mr. Mohammed.
Madam President, just one clarification. Is it 24 or is it 22 items? 22 items, right? Yes. To correct the record there. Yes.
Ms. Perez.
Yes.
Mr. Sedana.
Yes.
Mr. Treebwasser.
Yes.
Ms. Bourdain.
Yes. Ms. Odiella. Do you have any recommendations? No, I don't. Okay. Is there any old business that should be brought to the attention of the board? Is there any new business that should be brought to the attention of the board?
Madam President, just 2 quick items. One, with the first day of school coming up next week, I just want to welcome everybody back. Parents, please, check the parent portal. As always, we recommend do everything a little earlier, get to the bus stop a little earlier, get to school a little earlier. It's a long first day, a lot of nerves, a lot of jitters. Time just gives us some wiggle room as we navigate the first day of everything. The second item, and she's probably going to not be happy with me, I want to send a happy birthday wish to my daughter Juliana. She's 15 today. When she sees this, I'm sure I'll pay for it when I get home. But happy birthday, sweetheart.
Thank you, Dr. Massimino. I would like to also wish everybody a happy first day of school, happy good school year, and ditto to everything he said, and happy birthday to Juliana. Wish everybody good luck. Anybody else? We will now open the meeting for public comment. If you wish to say something, please come to the microphone, provide your name and section of the township in which you reside for the record. Again, members of the public are requested to express themselves in a civil manner with due respect for the dignity and privacy of those whose legal rights may be impacted. Please limit your comments to no more than 5 minutes. In accordance with Regulation 1100D, no response will be given until you have fully completed your comments so as to not interrupt your 5-minute opportunity to speak. I see you're ready.
Good evening. Thank you. Paul Lund, Hope Lawn. I read an article recently about the standardized testing company is no longer Pearson, and somewhat last minute the state introduced another company, and I heard that some superintendents were caught off guard. A lot of school districts were caught off guard. I just wanted to see if you had a chance to speak to that. The second item I want to refer to is a statement, a written statement here. It's entitled, "Selective Fiscal Responsibility is Not Responsibility." Our Board of Education justified for the longest time passing transgender guidance policy, widely known as 5756, but I know the number is a little bit different in Woodbridge, by citing fiscal responsibility to avert the risk of a lawsuit from the state through the Attorney General, Platkin, who already sued several districts for not complying completely with the suggested guidance. But now they're playing word games. Last time I was here, I suggested that perhaps we still have DEI, even though it's now called Director of Student Access and Engagement. And that might have been inaccurate. Maybe you have done away with DEI so that we don't risk a lawsuit from the feds. Word games, renaming DEI Director as Director of Student Access and Engagement while keeping the same equity-driven job description. Through an Oprah request, we have the job description before and the job description after Mr. Ali. And it really is largely unchanged. Now, it may satisfy Trenton to maintain DEI, but it puts $13 million in federal funding at risk. You can't claim fiscal responsibility in one breath, reason for keeping policy 5756, and ignore federal compliance in the next. If you feared a lawsuit from the state of New Jersey, why are you now willing to risk non-compliance with federal directives and lose millions in education funding? This isn't the whole budget, but it's not pocket change either. Federal dollars support vital programs, especially for at-risk students. That money could disappear because the district wants to preserve DEI under a cosmetic name change. That's not fiscal responsibility. That's willful defiance and reckless budgeting. If this board will bend to ideological pressure but ignore families and jeopardize federal support in the process, it's time to question who you really serve. And that's all my comments for today.
Okay. Dr. Massimino?
Yes, Mr. Lund, we are all waiting to hear information on the new testing company and what that test is going to look like. At this point, I haven't been given or received any information. I imagine once school starts and we start our county meetings, that information should be forthcoming, and if it's not, I certainly hope it is.
Okay. And I think the question in the second part was, is DEI still being funded here, and if so, to what amount?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Good evening, Tom Maris, Swartz, New Jersey. And I guess it's the time of year when you say, welcome back, Mr. Carter. For those of us old enough to remember the show. I hope somebody does. Anyway, moving on, I want to apologize. The last time I was here, and it was pointed out to me that I wore a cap, I was not trying to offend anybody, be discourteous, or advertise any political agenda. I don't know whether I had a Trump hat on, a Marine Corps cap, whatever it was, but I had something on my scalp, and I was just trying to cover it up. But again, I apologize if it offended anyone. Getting into what I want to talk about tonight, the last meeting, I did reach out to the board and to the superintendent to discuss the township's new ordinance, which is going to be, does regard bicycles, scooters, other electric vehicles. Collectively, I call them here and after vehicles. And Woodbridge has, the other night at the town council adopted the new resolution, which will really start cracking down on those that are using the vehicles inappropriately, such as driving on the wrong side of the road, particularly going up on sidewalks with them where they put pedestrians at risk and put themselves at risk too, whether they be on the road or on the sidewalks. But it's my understanding that the school, the district has communicated with the township PD. I think Sergeant, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, Sergeant Angelo will be coming to the school at some time early in the new season to head up a program with the schools, and I don't know which particular classes or schools they're going to go to talk about bike safety and the consequences that the new ordinance will bring upon those that make an offense. And it's my understanding that they've probably issued 100 and some odd summonses now and confiscated probably around 60 of the offending vehicles. Further to that, I believe somewhere around September 1st, the Colonial Corner will be running a whole article on that ordinance. And following that, the police director, Joe Niski, will also be commenting on social media about his entire plan in regard to that. So again, I just want to say kudos on working, and I hope this really does help, because I believe teaching the kids to do it the safe way is the way to get them off the streets and let them know there are consequences, and they will be enforced. Right now, I believe there's a differentiation between 17-year-olds and older, but they're looking at that too. This thing may be revised within 20 or 30 days down the road once they see how it's working. But I'm glad it's working, and I'm glad the school's cooperating, and we're going to educate the kids on this for their safety and for the safety of everybody else on the public. My next item is recently there was an article in The Patch which cited the U.S. News and World Report on Woodbridge high school ratings. Are you familiar with it? Have you seen it? Okay. I'd like you to comment on it. Do you think that was a fair assessment by U.S. News and World Report? And how do you feel that you can improve the rankings in the school? What has to be done? Is it a matter of more money, different curriculum? Exactly how do you intend to bring our scores up? So I don't even want to get into naming where we sit, because I'm not really happy with high 200s and 300 type rankings, or low, I should say, not high. But I'm sure you're working on it, and I'd like you to, as best you can this evening, address that, what your plans are to change those scorings. Thirdly, I know we're all horrified by the recent events at the Catholic school in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's horrific, it's tragic. Those will run to blame the gun first, but I think we really have to look at the person that was using the tool, if you want to look at it that way. That individual is 23 years old, he was no longer a child. His participation in the school is, I think, still not totally settled, although his mother allegedly had worked for the Catholic school. But one of the things that concern me is they are saying that there is concerns that the individual who is a transgender was under medication. And I'm wondering, too, how the school treats that. As Mr. Lund pointed out, there are limitations about what you can say to a parent if their child comes to you and says, I want to change my name from Robert to Robin. And I know you can't tell the parents, but are you made aware, or are you aware somehow that that child that is looking to transition is on some type of medication? And if so, how do you monitor that child's behavior?
All right, Mr. Maris. I'm sorry, that's your time.
Okay, it's five. Okay, it is 5 minutes. Okay.
It's 5 minutes.
Well, that'll do it. We're good.
I'll start at the top, Mr. Maris. With the e-bikes, Woodbridge PD, as I said before, is always welcome in our schools to educate our children on relevant matters. So when that time comes where the ordinance is final and they have a presentation, they have someone that will do it, I'm happy to partner with them, and they're always more than welcome. The U.S. News and World Report is a report. Everybody has different criteria. I'm sure, everybody looks at it and says, oh, the numbers are what they are, and that's true in the sense of they are what they are when you're looking at what variables are considered. And I say that because there are hundreds of variables you could consider when doing research. I did look at it because I was curious as to what their measures were, and their measures put a lot of weight on advanced placement testing.
Yes.
So I take it obviously seriously because it does, I am the superintendent of the district, so obviously I take ownership of that. What it doesn't include, there's no way for any one report to include every variable, right? If I was, when I did my research at Rutgers for my doctoral degree, and we looked at administratively mutable characteristics, you start to look at things of collective efficacy, trust, academic press, right? Those are things that you can control as an administrator or superintendent. What you can't control is socioeconomic status, right? The highest degree level of your parents. And those are also things that researchers take into consideration when they're looking at it. I say that the idea of there's a whole realm that you can pick from in terms of what you're going to use to measure academic success in an area. In this particular one, and I don't think anybody would question the credibility of the U.S. News and World Report, they focused on certain items which we have given a lot of attention to, specifically in the realm of AP testing. The reality is when you offer it to more, it's a rigorous course, we want the kids to take it because it's a rigorous course. They measure who gets a 4 and a 5. So if you take an AP test and you get an A in every category, A in every semester, but you don't get a 4 or a 5, you're not getting credit for that student's success because the measure of success isn't the grade, it's a score on the AP test. So I would say, like any other report or survey, it's going to be subjective depending on what variables they looked at and what variables they gave the greatest weight to. Obviously, any report that reflects our district is something I'm going to look at. You know, I spoke to Mr. Pastorino about it, to just look at some of the things that, you know, we have touched. We have gone over a lot of curriculum. We have really tried to focus on lowering the chronic absenteeism. There's a million things that we're trying to look at that aren't going to be included in this.
Well, I believe it also speaks to income by the schools, too, the levels.
They're going to include a whole lot of things.
Right.
And listen, the reality is that's the nature of schools. You know, I would be hard-pressed to say because the score isn't where we would like it to be, that the teachers aren't working hard, that the students aren't working hard, that the parents aren't working hard. I think they are. I think it's always going to be one of those things that you're always striving to get better. You're always looking for improvement. And depending on, you know, what variables that report looks at is going to give you a better idea of what the measurement looks like. Regarding your last question, you know, I appreciate that we're trying to tie in the transgender policy to financial responsibility, and I'm not sure I'm in agreement with that, but, you know, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. That's okay. The reality is we handle each student on an individual basis. If they're going through something that requires them being on medicine, that is going to be a conversation that the parent has with the school nurse, because we do have students that take medication for a whole myriad of reasons other than the one that you're suggesting. So I would be hard-pressed to say this is what we do every time. You know, we have students that have insulin pumps. We have students that have to take an oral medication because they may have a diagnosis or something that they need to monitor, and that medication helps. The reality is we have the school nurse, the administration speaking with the parents to make sure that we're aware of it. Anytime there's a student on a controlled substance, whether they have been diagnosed with something, they have an illness, a disorder, what have you, you know, we want to work with the parents the best we can. Their physician, you know, information is important. And
Well, I understand you can't say anything to the parents. If the student is doing this and that student, however you may learn about the medication they're on, you can't go to the parents and say to them, unless the parents specifically told you that my son or daughter is on this medication for whatever reason. Do they normally divulge it to you?
I'm not understanding.
Okay.
Listen, I'm going to say this. We've gone through enough meetings where I've heard about puberty blockers. We don't give out puberty blockers.
Okay.
We don't. We don't perform
Oh, you
surgeries.
give it out. No,
No,
I'm not saying that at all.
I hear you, but I listen to it every meeting. Right? We don't prescribe anything. I've never written a prescription in my life. I don't do surgery. I have never done a surgery in my life. Those things don't happen in the context of our schools. If a student is taking medication that we are aware of, then the parent has to be aware of that with the physician, that this isn't something where we're playing an I gotcha. We're looking out for a student's well-being. I think it would be disingenuous to suggest that we know something that a student's doing and we're not telling the parent that deals with medicine that we didn't prescribe that we think a student is taking. We don't differentiate the priority of student well-being.
Right.
We want all of our students to be okay, regardless of.
If they're on a medication that is now turning out to do harm, potentially do
Mr. Maris, you have 5 minutes, right? And when you talk, I don't interrupt you at all. I don't interrupt you at all. I let you talk.
Just say thank you.
Right?
And,
Okay.
Look, I know the school is well taken care of as far as security is concerned. I don't think anybody has to worry about that. And I just want to wish everybody thank you I hope you all had a great summer and best of luck in the new school year.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Maris.
Good evening. My name is Gerald Maglio from the Dolores Turco Foundation. I've been here a few times, so you already know we protect children from abuse and neglect, and we do not discriminate against anyone for any reason. And I also have been here enough times and attended meetings to know that this board really appears to care about the students and you serve, and to make decisions based on the facts that are presented to you as best as possible. And I do believe you earnestly try to make decisions based on what's in the best interest of the children and their families. But that's why I'm compelled to share with you two decisions that came down from the Supreme Court over the past couple of weeks that affect parental rights. The court upheld a Tennessee ban on transgender protocols for children because, one, the protocols are still experimental, two, they sterilize children, and three, children should not be subjected to something that's irreversible. And I just heard it's not that the school is doing that, it's just that students are referred to professionals, and these are the protocols of the professionals in the state of New Jersey. In another decision, the Mahmoud decision versus Taylor, the Supreme Court ruled that schools cannot shut parents out of or disregard their religious obligations for their children. Parents have the right to know what a child is being taught at school and to opt out of divisive or ideological lessons that go against their values and religious beliefs. Families, not bureaucrats, raise their children according to their sincerely held religious beliefs, and parents have the right to protect children from certain content, particularly the LGBT content for sincerely held religious beliefs, because these can harm and influence vulnerable children. These decisions reinforce our constitutional rights of American citizens to freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and freedom for parents to raise their children according to their values. You may have made decisions in the past because you may have felt compelled based on information you were given or threats of loss of funding. But the Supreme Court has changed all that. So you're no longer bound to choices that are inconsistent with every American's right to freedom and that shake the very pillars of our nation's foundation, which is faith, family, and freedom. I'd like to talk a moment about freedom, being that July 4th was 4th of July and our Independence Day. We celebrate our freedom, the inalienable right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, the freedom of, as I mentioned, freedom of speech and religion, and to raise our children according to our beliefs, but also choices to succeed or fail based on our own initiatives, not limited by government. The government does not grant these rights, nor can the government take them away, because they're God-given. And freedom does not mean doing whatever we want, but the freedom to do what we ought. And the ultimate use of freedom is to love God and love neighbor, because love helps us use freedom to say yes to what's right and good and no to what's evil and destructive. What I wanted to mention also, one last thing, is there's 1 million youth that traveled to Rome just a few weeks ago to attend Mass with the Pope, Pope Leo XIII. They came seeking the true meaning of life and what happiness really is. It's God that put that desire in their hearts for wholeness and to feel the longing for love in their lives and that of their peers. And he led them there. They were led to the example of Carlo Acutis, the first millennial saint. He's an ordinary kid with an extraordinary faith. As you can tell from some of his quotes, everyone is born an original, but most die a carbon copy. Sadness is looking at ourselves. Happiness is looking toward God. And he died at 15, and he said, I'm happy to die because I've lived my life without wasting a minute on things which do not please God. Well, they found their answer in the example of Carlo Acutis, and they're ready to share it with the world. And they're on fire. And you'll soon discover that it was never about gender ideology or sexual how to use sexual gratification. What it is about is love, because God is love, and with his love, all things are possible. So thank you for allowing me to address this board, and I do thank you for your service, and I do believe that you are trying to do the right thing, and please consider some of these when you consider transgender policy. One last thing I wanted to mention is I did send to the superintendent a letter. We provide the optimal sexual education. And in
I'm
the
sorry,
event-
that's your time. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. Maglio, I just wanted to follow up. You did get my response, correct? I had emailed you back a response.
Okay, I'll take a second. I know you said you were looking at it or someone was going to be reviewing it, and I don't know if there was another response.
No. I just wanted to make sure that you had gotten my initial response, that we were looking at it, and if there was a spot for it, that we would, happy to talk to Mr. Pastorino.
Thank you very much.
Just wanted to make sure you got it. Yep. No problem.
And yes, I can speak for the board, I think, and say we do care for the students of this district very much. The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. No? Motion by Mr. Truebosser, second by Mr. Delapietro. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Meeting is adjourned.